So at this point, let me welcome on board Mr. William Komu, who's the Director, Economic Planning, International Economic Partnerships and Frameworks Directorate at the State Department for Economic Planning. Mr. William.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a pleasure to join you in this conversation on implementation of the Pact for the future. And I want to begin by expressing our sincere appreciation to the champions for SDGs Youth of convening this important meeting, and also to thank each and every one of us for joining this great important engagement to foster SDGs implementation in the country. This meeting comes at a crucial time when all the UN member states are in a critical stage towards accelerating implementation of the SDGs in the country, with only 5 years remaining to the 2030 deadline. The State Department for Economic Planning, where I come from, is mandated to coordinate tracking, reporting, and also dissemination of the SDGs and creating awareness on the SDGs towards accelerating implementation of the SDGs in the country. And to do that, we don't do it alone. We have established a multi-stakeholder framework where we have established an interagency technical working committee comprised of various key stakeholders, both from the government, from the CSO, the SDGs Kenya Forum, the private sector, that is the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the National Youth Council, which is a very critical stakeholders in the implementation of the SDGs on the interest of the youth affairs, and also the Parliamentary Caucus on SDGs and business, not to forget the UN agencies and the academia represented by the University of Nairobi. This committee has been very critical in the country in the implementation of the SDG agenda, and has been preparing a status report towards implementation of the SDGs in the country, with the recent report being the 2024 VNR, which we did last year, and which was presented at the A-level political forum in New York. The report provides basically the implementation of the 17 goals. We have also provided the challenges and experience, the lesson learned, and also the recommendation to accelerate implementation of the goals across the various targets and the indicators. And I would encourage all of us to have a look at the report. It's in our website for the State Department for Economic Planning, and also the SDGs, the International Framework Coordination Directorate website. But just at a glance in the SDGs implementation, at the global level, I think we know that, and this was alluded in the 2025 UN SDGs progress report, that shows about 35% of the targets are on track or moderate, but progress on the 47% of the targets is insufficient, and which calls now for renewed effort towards accelerating implementation of the SDGs globally. Here in Kenya, we're also making great strides towards the SDGs implementation. But as if we look at the 2024 VNR, the review shows that out of the 168 indicators, we are tracking currently as a country 168 indicators out of the 248 indicators. 61% of the indicators, which is translated to 1 or 3, have registered as positive progress. With progress on the other 39% as stored. And that's saying it has not moved compared to where we are in the 2016 when the SDGs came into force. We still have some other indicators which you are not able to discern due to lack of data. And I think this has been alluded by the previous speaker on the need to amplify the need to ensure that we strengthen data collection for tracking the SDGs in the country. In addition to those, what we have done as a country, we have also integrated the SDGs, both at the National Planning Framework, that is a medium-term Plan 4, We have also done it at the county level through the CIDPs, and we have also done capacity building and awareness creation, both to the government officers and still to at the local level with assistance with the SDGs Kenya Forum. So despite these efforts, challenges still persist in the implementation of the SDGs. I think you are very much aware that the poverty levels are still low. We are yet to reduce the level of inequalities in the country. Is not at the rate, is not at the level we expect to have as a country. Still having inequalities which are a bit some increasing. The food systems and the climate change continue to inhibit the implementation of the SDGs. And this basically calls for the collective efforts of all of us to address this constraint if we are to achieve the SDGs by the year 2030. Back to the discussion of today, the Pact for the Future. I think Mr. Themba has alluded a lot on what's the Pact as for the youth with the 5 foundational, the sectors, the chapters, the Pact specifically on the youth matters. The member states are committed to invest in the social and economic development of the children and the young people so that they can reach their full potential. The Pact also committed the UN member state to promote, protect, and respect the human rights of all young people and foster social inclusion and integration, strengthen the meaningful youth participation at the national level, and also strengthen the meaningful youth participation at the international level. And I believe these are the part of what today's discussion is around about. And these elements resonate deeply with Kenya's priorities and present a unique opportunity for all of us and for our country to reimagine how we can deliver development for the future generation. I know that the National Youth Council CEO has alluded that the youth form the majority of our population, and there is need now to have to ensure they fully participate in the national development of our country and in implementation of the SDGs. But to achieve this ambition, we must work together, as I said. Youth, both at the national and also at the local level, need to be involved in and need to take to be on the forefront in turning the commitments in the Pact to action. Through the champions for SDGs Youth and the National Youth Council, one of the things, I think it has been alluded, we need to strengthen these engagements to bring on board more youth in the SDGs implementation, and specifically to the implementation of the Pact for the youth for the future. And this will be through creating and enhancing the awareness on the Pact, still in addition to the creating and advocating for accelerating implementation of the SDGs. We need more of these webinars to reach more youth in the country. And we also need to contribute towards the implementation of the specific action in the Pact. We also need more community dialogues. I think one of our speakers has alluded on the grassroots communities to understand not only the SDGs, but specific what they can do on the implementation of the Pact for the future. We believe all the citizens have a stake in the SDGs implementation, and specifically all the citizens have a stake towards the implementation of the Pact for the future if we are to realize the SDGs in the country by the year 2030. So as the agency responsible for tracking and reporting on the implementation of the SDGs, that is the State Department for Economic Planning through the International Framework Coordination Directorate, we commit to regularly prepare and disseminate reports on the implementation of the Pact for the future. And our appeal to you and to young generation is to ensure that we create more awareness on the Pact. We use the social media, I think someone has already alluded, and to other means to ensure that we reach as many people as possible to ensure we fully implement the Pact for the future. And with those few remarks, I thank you as again, Chair, for being here to foster and also everyone for being here to foster the implementation of the SDGs in the country, and specifically the implementation of the Pact for the future. Thank you and God bless you. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Bwana William Komu, for engaging with us and for committing that you will regularly report and disseminate on the Pact for the Future. And we are here to help you and collaborate with you in ensuring that we make that happen.